Mike Felger joins us now from Radio Row. Hi, Mike.
What's up, fellas?
How are you?
Good. How we doing?
You don't like the grabass?
No.
Let's kick off. Let's just begin with a little grabass.
Let me ask something. First of all, are we live or is this Taylor? I don't.
Yeah, it's live. It's on YouTube. It's the only place people consume things now.
It's on you, so it's live on YouTube.
Sure is.
It's like what that guy does over the McAfee. Now he's rich.
How do you feel about the Pat McAfee show?
Oh, you gotta hate him.
I'm not a big connoisseur. I'm not. I don't hate it. I've respect. I mean, whatever. He's a punter. Now he's a media guy, and he's he's parlayed in a huge job. So I got a lot of respect for it.
So your story is, you went to BU, and you've told the story of they went around the room and said, what do you want to do? What do you want to get out of this education, blah, blah.
That's right.
And everybody gave these, I want to write a book, and you said, I don't know, something in sports.
No, something. I went to BU to be a sports writer. So they got, you want my life story?
No, well, I say that to say that all you want to do is something with sports, not grab ass.
That's right.
Not dick around.
Right. I think a lot of you guys would want to be Ryan Seacrest. You want to be Dick Clark. You want to be like Jay Leno.
You know who I want to be? It's like the only name you didn't name there. Dick Cavett?
Sure.
All I want to be is Dick Cavett.
Exactly.
Just fucking around.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
All these sports guys think they're, there's a sort of, what am I trying to say? Like some sort of crossover entertainment. No, you just sit down and talk about the game. Whatever. Do that thing and go home.
What if there's something cooler than the game? Some things are bigger than the game, Mike.
Then take all your comedic talents and go do a variety show.
Why do you come here? You must hate this place.
This has to be your worst week.
I actually like it. Because we never do guests. In the regular Felger and Maz show, we almost never have guests on. So this sort of forces us to talk to other people, and I like that. It's a change of scenery. We're in the studio 200 days a year, face-to-face like this, in a little studio. And so for a week to get out and just look at something different, talk to someone different, is a good change-up for the show. I actually like it. I mean, but there's no grab ass. It's like I don't have a guest on and I sit around and make jokes and sit around and chit-chat.
Oh, chit-chatting rocks, dude.
It really does.
How do you, man,
it's so painful.
You get Mad Dog.
Chit-chat.
You get Mad Dog every year. You get that guy's fine ass walks in and
but there's a chit-chat.
Oh yeah, he does.
Not really.
Boy, good to be with you. Like the whole thing.
Oh, a little bit. So he does it, I guess, a little bit.
He definitely does.
Do you like his show with Stephen A. Smith?
Sure. I like that better than, say, McAfee.
They spend the first 8 minutes of that show of Stephen talking about what he's wearing.
Yeah, about what he's wearing, exactly.
I look good, don't I? And then Molly says, yeah, sure, let's start the show. And he says, yeah, but let's take a moment for the outfit. I like that.
You do. I think if I were advising him, and I don't think he needs it, I'd say cut out when we used to be sports writers, the editor would say that's clearing your throat. A lot of guys come on the air and they spend like 2 minutes clearing their throat about what they're wearing, what they did last. Chit-chat. What if you just eliminated that and got right to what you were going to just go right to it?
I mean, that's the appeal of Stephen A. Smith, though. Like the Stephen A. Smith show, him talking about how much he loves Latino women, like that is my my alley.
Do you know this? He has like a side gig where he goes in a studio.
I only know because Fred in the morning
plays. I'm sure they play that all the time. It looks like it's an ESPN studio. It's kind of like an ambush marketing type of thing. Like you think that it's an ESPN thing because then when he posts the clips after, it's people tweeting at him being like, what do you think of, what's your starting five of Sesame Street? And he's breaking down what position he would have Cookie Monster play. That's the type of thing I think you could do really, really well.
Horrible. No, I couldn't. I have no desire.
You went to the Golden Knights game the other night. We were at that. You got to fucking see a Conor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl 2-on-0. So is that something you love or is that something you hate?
I came in late.
Oh my God!
So I missed the goal. I was there for just the third period because I was doing TV here. So I was only there for the third period. I missed the pregame, which everyone talks about. I missed a lot of the game presentation stuff that I know everyone wants to talk about. That I don't give two fucks about.
I wanted to get your read on that because this is extremely grab-assy. You know what we did during the day?
What?
First, we started that day by meeting with Gene Principe, who we'll talk about in a little bit. He is the anti-Felger. He is the host of all the Oilers intermission stuff. That is peak grab ass. No matter how well the Oilers are doing, if it's somebody's birthday, they open the intermission show with, it's somebody's birthday, let's give them a cake. And they don't talk about the game for a fucking second. And Mike, that makes it the best show in the world. Because from period 1 to the end of period 1, you get McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Skinner, all these guys, and then you get grabass in the middle. Anyway, we finished that interview.
I could talk about this for a while. You understand, if it's too much grabass, the thing that is actually bringing people to the TV is the sports, okay? It's Barstool Sports. It's this hockey show. It's the intermission of the hockey game. If you go too far away from the game, we're all going to lose the connection is the game.
The connection is the excuse.
The connection is not you and your humor. It's not as talented as you think you are. You're not. Okay?
No, hockey is the excuse.
I'm talented. I might not be cool.
People are there for the game, and if we get too far from the game, we're going to lose the string, and that's what I am concerned about.
But
it's like they're not there for you.
Do you not trust, though, that some people, that the guys who are doing the grab ass and everything, like the game? And that, like we were talking...
I think they like more trying to be an entertainer than they like the game.
But when I defend you, which I do, you'll never believe this, but whenever people do the, hey, is he an asshole, blah, it's like, you're my favorite person in media, other than maybe Stephen A. Smith. Because for as unwilling to do any of the other stuff, the reason people like you is because you're entertaining.
Correct.
Okay.
And I also think that, like, you are the best person in Boston media. You are the best at your job.
Thank you.
But
nice for you to say that.
But there is also, like, room for more than what you do. You think that there's only room for what you do?
I'm afraid of losing the string, of letting go of the rope. The rope is the sports. And if you get too far away from it, everyone's going to, I don't know.
If it's entertaining, people don't give a shit.
Okay, but I like to think it's entertaining because we actually watch the games, we consume the post-game press conferences, we read the game story, we consume all of that, and then come in and react to it. And we stick to that. And I think because we put in the work, we're focused on it, hopefully it's an entertaining product. But that's because of the focus we put on the thing. I can tell when guys haven't watched the game.
Oh, yeah.
It's obvious. Haven't watched. It's not that hard. Watch the game, listen to some of the post-game press conferences, read a little bit of what was written about it, and find something that pisses you off about it, and then come in and react to it. But the number of guys that just don't do that, it's not that hard. It doesn't take that much. And I think that's the core of what the whole sports media is. And there's too many guys that want to come in and be fucking Jimmy Fallon and just be like some sort of grand entertainer. And the people are there in the first place for the game. So don't lose that string. Don't lose that. Don't let go of that rope. There's my rant.
Remember Danielle Trotta?
Sure. Yeah.
She, a lovely person. We weren't the best coworkers. We were different. She wanted to do the sports.
Yeah.
Just plan the show. That's what we do. If there's breaking news, fuck the breaking news. We're doing the show that we're planning.
Oh.
I like to go in there and I like to say, hey, that there's a Antonio Brown did a stupid thing. We got to talk about that sort of thing. And one day, I think complimentary, she was like, I think that you're like you're more like the Jimmy Fallon style than whatever. And I was like, use any other fucking name. That's
Jimmy
so insulting.
Everyone wants to be Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know if Jimmy Fallon wants to be Jimmy Fallon anymore, man.
No, but you know what I mean. You fancy yourself like talk show hosts, like entertainment talk show hosts versus sports.
But yeah.
So I understand there's more room that we could do more of it. But I would way rather err on the other side of it.
I actually don't want you to do more of it because I think that you do grab ass in your own way. You do Maz's tears.
Maz, there's a little bit, right.
So
I like
Mike's co-host was putting teams in tears a bunch, and his other co-host, Jim, started singing No More Tears by Ozzy Osbourne. So now they have a sponsored segment where Maz just has to rank things every week, and they sing Ozzy Osbourne.
That's it.
It's still sportsy. It's quite grabby.
But I like that you use the Barstool Sports example because, like, the reason that Barstool is like a monster is not because of the sports. It's because of the personalities.
Sexism and racism. Okay. I'm just kidding.
No. Well, it's because of the personalities and because of the drama that they have in there.
I'm here to tell you, then why is it Barstool Sports?
Because
why did they throw the sports on them?
I mean, it started with the sports, but it became more.
Yeah. So
why is the fucking Ben Folds 5 a trio?
Okay. So I'm using so everyone wants to be Dave Portnoy. There's only one Dave Portnoy. It's like I can't be Dave Portnoy. I don't have that talent. I don't have that voice. I don't have that thing. So I'm just going to stick with what happened last night and do that thing and then go home.
Have you asked at all? You probably haven't because you're busy. Do you wonder why we're here? This is a hockey show.
For this.
Grabass.
Yes.
Grabass Christmas,
Yes.
Grabass Super Bowl. I am assuming you did not see the video that we made Monday at Media Night.
With the thing you sent me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Like, now that's all. There's like a TikTok video, right, with those edits?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's how everything is now done?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're doing?
Yeah.
It's so,
Wait,
so bad.
Did you not? I'm surprised you watched it.
Well,
B,
no, enough just to see what it was.
you didn't watch the whole thing?
No, I did not watch the whole thing.
Brother, we fucking cooked. That was so good. And you really are wired different.
I'm not here to watch you do some variety, some sort of sing and dance.
But we're song and dance men.
I'm not a song and dance man.
What do you do for fun?
If I wanted to,
like,
see
what
someone
does your day
sing
look
and
like?
dance, I went to the U2 thing last night.
Okay, how was that?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
They.
I mean, like anything, I could complain about it. There's plenty of things to complain about, but overall, it was really cool.
What are your complaints? Are they
Okay,
not doing them right? Jim Murray voice?
My complaints are like the sort of like it's the same conversation. It's like, dude, your job is to get up there with your electric guitars and all the bells and whistles and belt out loud rock. That's it. That's your job. My job is to show up and belt out sports takes for 4 hours. So that's what I try and do. I don't waste people's time with grab ass or interludes or any of this. That's your job. So your job there, fellas, is to show up and pick up those electric instruments, play them at high volume with all those amazing bells and whistles that you have in that building. Instead, there's an interlude with an acoustic set, and there's some story time, and there's joke time, and he's singing little like Elvis ditties in between songs. It's like not, I know you're probably, here's the thing. Here's why there's so much grab ass. Because people can't focus on the job and just do it. Because they get bored. It's hard to do it 4 hours. It's hard to do the same songs every night. It's hard to do that. So how do you get a break mentally? You fuck around. You grab ass, So it's like, there was a little too much of that. I don't want to hear the story time. I don't want the acoustic set with it. What happened to all the lights? It was like there was an interlude there for like, I don't know, maybe 6 songs. It felt like too long. I know it's like 4 to 6 songs where there's no more light show.
Are you a Grateful Dead guy?
Edge is playing an acoustic guitar. I'm like, what just happened? He's telling stories. Like, what just happened to my Rob? We were just having a good show, and now what are we doing?
If there's one man who was never meant to touch an acoustic guitar, it's the Edge, because he has that iconic sound with the delay on the guitar and everything.
Yes.
So I hear you there.
Are you a Grateful Dead guy?
I am.
Fuck yeah.
So how do you feel about like this space drums? Shit.
So that's when you go get a beer. That's when, in the old days when you would do a little more drugs. You just sit it out, patient. Just be patient. Oh, I mean, I think it's horrible. Like, I have no, it is what it is.
That is like the ultimate music grab.
I was going to say, well, no one is more of a grab ass band than the Dead. I can't really do Fish. That feels, for some reason, a little musically grab ass.
No. Grab ass to me. Here's grab ass.
It's not playing music.
It's not playing music.
Yeah.
Or it's fiddling around with an acoustic guitar or telling some sort of story. Or this is what I hate, is when the lead singer jumps off the stage and high fives people in the front row. Like, now you're not even singing. Now you're just sort of grab-assing with the fans and shaking hands. And I don't care to see you shake hands. I want up there with your electric guitar singing the song. The Dead never say a word. They don't speak into the mic.
Yeah.
They don't jump off the stage. They don't, run around the stage like you sing a chord. No, fuck off. Your job is to sing the song, and then we all go home.
And if anyone could,
can you do it?
I say this with all of love in my heart. If anyone would get a pass for doing that, it's Bobby.
We're?
Bobby, yeah. He's 1,000 years old.
Okay.
He grunts out the songs. But I love, maybe it's just like I got Stockholm Syndrome or something. Like, I like the grunty versions. I saw Chris Christopherson a few years ago in Nashville. Same sort of thing. Done, toast, old. But hearing him just...
Well, I mean, if you really want to go to... Weir sings way too many Garcia songs, and he butchers them. I fucking hate it. It's my biggest beef. It's like Mayer should sing the Jerry songs, or O'Teal, the bass player. He's got a beautiful falsetto voice. He should sing the Jerry songs. But Weir has this sort of like lounge singer approach, which is fine on his songs. Bobby, you sing your songs, and the Jerry songs should be Mayer or O'Teal. But Weir insists on singing these Jerry songs, and he just butchers them. I hate it.
How was the Sphere?
So I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, I see it. I get it. And they, like, so my complaint is that they didn't give me both barrels all night. It's like, there's sometimes when they go, like, the full effects, it's like, Jesus. Like, it looks like the stage is moving. I mean,
no anxiety, right? It doesn't freak you out?
I got a little vertigo. There was one song where they do this effect where it looks like the stage is rising, but it's really just I don't know how they do it, but it is like sort of, I kind of avert your eyes for one of them. And when they go full fucking effects, it's like, it's unbelievable. It's like, there was a whole part of the show where they turned them off. I'm like, what happened?
So I want to get your thoughts on...
What just happened to the show?
Well, our show topic yesterday?
Yes, I want to get your thoughts. Did you hear the story that James Dolan won't let the Rangers trade their first-round pick for this summer? Because he owns the Sphere. Right. He owns the Rangers. Right. He wants the Rangers to have their first-round pick at the draft.
And the draft
so they can be part of the spectacle.
It's at the Sphere, yeah. So they were in on Elias Lindholm, and the report was that like they essentially lost out on the trade and on Lindholm because James Dolan wouldn't allow them to trade the first-round pick.
That's amazing.
And let me ask you, so my take on this was, unless it's the first overall pick, no one's going to fucking see it. It's the NHL draft.
Right.
You couldn't tell me. I'm sure you saw Connor Bedard put on the jersey and everything.
I didn't watch that shit.
So even if it's like, and even if you had, you probably don't know who Leo Carlson is yet, or Adam Fantilli and the guys who went after that.
Doesn't BU supposed to have the
Macklin Celebrini?
Yeah.
Is he that good?
He's very
supposedly,
good.
And
yes.
I watched a little bit. I'm like, where's this #1 overall pick supposed to be? I didn't notice him.
We're trying to get him to San Jose with Greer and Quinney, little BU party.
This is why it sucks to suck. That's going to be the franchise save. I mean, again, I haven't watched it enough, so I'm speaking out of my ass. I watched one period.
He has some quiet games, but he's a very, very good player. How big is he? He's not very big. So, I mean, neither is Connor Bedard, and Connor Bedard is electric, and he's going to be the face of the NHL for a long time.
Okay.
You used Sean's a big Sabres guy and Bill's guy and everything, and you said you used the Buffalo Sabres as an example for why the Patriots shouldn't lose games.
Why no one should ever tank. Because then you become the Buffalo
It's not really tanking if you're just like...
Right, yeah.
Try your hardest, you're going to lose anyway.
No,
you
but this
suck.
is this
you
ties
just have to
into it.
suck at the right time.
But to use that same analogy, if you let go of the rope, if it becomes okay to lose, you forget how to win. I've seen it. Like I think the Sabres, no matter what they do, they institutionally in their DNA don't know how to win. It's been too long. I've seen teams doing it. Like I feel, and I love it. I feel like Montreal's getting to this place where they've sucked a little bit. They wanted to draft high, so it was okay to lose. Okay, we'll just tank this season, get a high pick. They got some high picks. And now it's like they're in this decade stretch where they've kind of lost they've lost their DNA of what they are as an organization because it was okay to lose and they wanted high picks. And I just would never want to be that.
Well, sort of on that note, too, it's like you need to be good for an extended period of time to win a championship, especially in the NHL. We talk about plenty of times where
this is true.
A team needs to get their asses kicked at least one time in the playoffs to learn how to win.
Name the team that just popped.
Right, exactly.
Did that Blackhawks team, when they first won, I feel like they were conference finalists and then they won.
When Taves was a kid and everything, they were just like a young team that kind of broke through. But all the teams that have died of embarrassment recently, this is my favorite stat and why you should be happy for your Bruins. The 2010 Bruins died of embarrassment. They blow the 3-0 lead. The 2019 Lightning die of embarrassment. They get swept in the first round. They win the next 2 Stanley Cups.
Right.
The 2010 Bruins that came back the next year, added a couple of guys, won the Stanley Cup.
Avalanche perpetually got their ass kicked.
Right. Recently there was that...
Vegas missed the playoffs.
Right. You remember that Washington team that finally was going to break through and they loaded up and they got Kevin Shattenkirk and they traded for fucking everybody. They were going to be a wagon. They lost in like the fucking second round. Next year, they'd lost all those players, won the cup. So
That's
there
why
is
I'm not
something
buying in
to-
on like the Vancouver Canucks this year. Like I think that like the Winnipeg Jets, those teams need to get their asses kicked at least for one run, and then they come back the next year and be better for it.
So you think the Bruins have a chance at a real run?
Absolutely.
They do.
Yeah.
You think their D is sturdy enough?
No, but look at the
Poised
Eastern
enough?
Conference. The Eastern Conference, it's not good. Like the
but
Eastern Conference, there is no powerhouse.
I don't
in the
look at it
Eastern.
that way, though. I mean,
Why?
Because all the team has to do is play hard, turn up their forecheck, and the Bruins defensemen shits themselves.
Why can't that be the Bruins though?
So I don't know. It's because it never is.
I think they need one more guy. I think. How do you feel about the Poitras thing? Bummed?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know. If they need a guy, they need it in back. They need a defenseman.
I think at this point, if you can get like Adam Henrique, who's now going to go for a shitload. He's 100 years old, but the two best centers are already gone. The only good.
I know I sound stupid. I'm not worried about. I'm fine with what they have at center.
Even with Poitras gone?
Yep.
So it's going to come down to is
Coyle and
Hampus Lindholm
Zacha and Fine. I think it's all about that D-core playing with poise. It's not necessarily physical and that thing. Playing with poise with the puck, they shit themselves. It's a common theme. So like these teams that aren't powerhouses, like that Carolina team or the Florida team, they have this really heavy forecheck, right? They play this really intense style, and I think the Bruins defensemen from McAvoy on down don't know how to settle down against that pressure. That to me is their biggest
you
issue.
soured on McAvoy a little bit.
Yeah,
huh?
well, as he made that, he's supposed to be a Norris guy. Is he?
I think that he was supposed to be Doughty-esque, and I think that Doughty maybe came down to kind of meet his level, and they ended up being sort of in the same conversation, but not necessarily for the best reasons.
But Drew Doughty at his peak was elite puck mover, elite skill, elite. McAvoy.
I think McAvoy borders on.
And Doughty's come down.
Yeah,
absolutely. But Doughty had a 5-year stretch where he controlled the game back there.
I think.
And McAvoy's never made that move.
McAvoy just doesn't have like the offensive upside that's going to get him in the Norris discussion. I think that he's a very, very good defenseman, and he's just not going to have the production that puts him in the Norris discussion. It's not necessarily like a terrible thing. He's just not that guy. I don't think he's ever going to win a Norris.
Yeah.
But
I don't care about the goals, and he doesn't shoot enough. Like I don't care about that. It's the controlling the puck from in back, and when you just see it, like guys that retrieve the puck and carry it to the red line and set up the play and calm it down and make that one entry pass or the one exit pass out of the zone. The guys that Doughty was brilliant at it. Like who am I thinking? Brett Burns. When he was at his best, could do that, control the game. Hedman, like those guys control the game from in back.
Duncan Keith, I
loved.
Yeah.
Makar is a whole nother level where he, is just a threat. But just get me to the red line, and McAvoy doesn't do that like I want him to do it.
Who's the one guy in the league outside of like McDavid that commands your attention and that you like to watch?
So I'm so bad. I wish I knew the league better than I did. And so at the game, what I noticed the other night, I think McDavid's developed some bad habits. So I was just there for the third.
Oh.
It was a 2-1 game. It was a 1-1 game going into the third. They had that big streak going. I happened to be sitting in the box with Vegas personnel, like the front office personnel. And so the team president was, in the front row, like intense on this game. And so Vegas wanted it. It was that big streak with Edmonton. And I thought McDavid he kind of floats. He doesn't stick his nose in there. I feel like he waits too often for the play to come to him. He's just on the outside of the action waiting for the puck to come to him. And I'm like, stick your nose in there a little bit?
I know what shift specifically you're talking about, because midway through the period, I was waiting for it. I was like, I can't fucking wait. If this game stays close, he's going to move away from splitting up Draisaitl and McDavid, and he's going to do the Draisaitl, McDavid, Zach Hyman thing, and it's going to be electric. In the first or second shift that they were together, he was kind of acting like there was 3 Conor McDavids on the ice and just deferring. And when he is at his best, he is hockey Kyrie Irving, which is...
You want to talk about someone when he gets the puck in neutral ice and goes on the rush, everyone is like,
I am so mad you missed.
Back.
I am so mad you missed that goal, because he picks off. Did you see the goal?
No, I haven't even seen it.
So he picks off the puck high in the defensive zone, and everybody slowly, me, Pete, and Sharnson together, the whole place just slowly getting up, and it turns into a 2-on-0 McDavid and Draisaitl, and you're waiting for Aiden Hill to be like blown through the end boards or something, and it's incredible. Like everybody knows that he's going to score. Everybody knows it's going to go. Okay, McDavid to Draisaitl, back to McDavid. There's nothing you can do. And he does it. He's phenomenal. But everybody, if you like hockey, if you don't like hockey, Michael Hawley the other day compared him to the country artist you like when you don't like country.
Okay.
Where you're like, hey, I'm not the biggest fan of this thing, but that fucking guy, that Stapleton guy, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing something else.
I got it. No, he pops. So who else across the league? So Makar. I mean,
it's a good answer.
I mean, that's a game changer, right? I mean, he plays a position differently, or you notice him on the ice. It's hard to do at that position. You notice him, the threat of him, and I think that whole team is the fastest team. They have to be the fastest team in the league.
So one of his teammates, Nathan McKinnon, I think is the most electric guy in the league. And this year is like his MVP year. He's at his best. He's been like bridesmaid, never a bride, always kind of like second, third, fourth in Hart voting. This year, Nathan McKinnon is like the best player in the league and just electric to watch.
So the thing that gave me hope was those Bruin games were good. The Bruins skated with them. Like, I didn't realize the Bruins could do that. When I watched those games against the Avalanche, I didn't feel like they got skated off the ice. They were kind of there with them.
What would you do with the Bruins goalies?
Trade fucking Ullmark. Like, Jesus. I mean, that's it. That's the one move I would make. I would trade one of those goalies.
For what?
For a defenseman. And I'm not getting delusions of grandeur.
You're losing the trade.
A Sprite, yes.
You're absolutely losing the trade.
I'm losing the trade for a second pair defenseman. Second, even third pair. A good fifth defenseman, big, sturdy guy. I would do it.
What happens if one of the goalies, if Swayman goes down?
Okay, well, then you're like, that's called hockey. Your starting goalie gets hurt, you put in Aiden Hill. Like, that's what you do. Okay? So it's like, now you're like everybody else. Like this thing, we've got to have the two goalies. No, two goalies is a luxury that most teams don't get.
Do you not? So I know that you're outspoken against them rotating the goalies in the postseason, which
No. Now it's so stupid. I now demand that they do it.
Because you're doing the Adam Jones thing. You're rooting for them to do the thing so you can be proven right.
Pretty much. But whatever. No, let's see it. Fuck it. Let's see it. I want you up 2-0 in a playoff series with Swayman standing on his head, and let's go to fucking Ullmark in Game 3 up 2-0. I can't wait. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do that thing because Swayman's getting overworked. Let's sit a hot goalie in the postseason. Good. Great idea. I'm not joking.
But you don't trust.
Well, let's do this. I want to see it.
You don't trust the coach to have the right feel for it because he can say
it's impossible.
We're up 2-0.
So that you're talking about who has the right feel for it. Everyone has a different feel. This feels this way. Well, it feels this way to me. How does that feel to you? I don't know. I have a different feel for it. This is what did Ty Anderson say? It's like
vibes.
The vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
shut up, Ty.
That's great. Yeah. No. I can't wait till they have the Bruins go on vibes. You know, when the only vibe they get is the Sens are going to shit themselves. Like, that's the Bruins vibe in the postseason. Now they're going to navigate that goalie thing. I want to see it.
Play the guy until it's obvious, and then play the other guy.
Obvious. What's obvious?
Has a bad game.
What's obvious? How? So what is that?
Unfortunately, we're an Ullmark podcast. Love the guy. After the turnover in Game 5.
Yes. Obvious.
That was obvious?
So obvious.
Yeah, okay. They were up 3-1. Let's sit the Vezina goalie up 3-1 in the playoffs. Great idea.
Let's trade the Vezina goalie the next year.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You famously said you would fire Claude Julien off the Duck boats.
Yes.
So I do appreciate.
I think I've been proven right.
You would trade Ullmark or Swayman off the podium because Swayman could win it this year.
So I say trade one of them, but I really mean Ullmark because you've heard me say this too. Ullmark feels rasky to me. There's a little Rask-ish vibe. Well, what vibe do I get with the Bruins goalie when Ullmark's in there? Tuukka. I get a Tuukka vibe.
What does that mean?
The GOAT, man.
He's going to shit
awesome.
himself. He's going to get to the end, and he's either literally, which has happened, or figuratively shit himself and not be there at the end, either by tapping out, which he's done, or by figuratively on the ice tapping out. Okay?
So when we started the show, I was explaining it to Murray, and it was essentially like, it's the type of thing that Felger will hate, but hopefully other people will like. Our first, second, third episode, we had Ullmark and Swayman together, you would have had a fucking nightmare with that conversation, including Ullmark saying, I don't get the hate that Tuukka got. I played him a bunch of times, never beat him.
Let me tell you why. And I'm going to sound like an ugly American, but some of those European guys, they don't get the Stanley Cup. They're not hardwired. They grew up.
Chara famously got the thing and he was like, what, should I lift it? I don't care about this thing.
Well, I think he cared, but...
I'm kidding. He was like insane about it.
No, Chara, but I'm not saying every European falls into this, but I think that they grow up, what's your dream growing up in Sweden or Finland or Russia? It's Olympic gold. It's a world championship. It's winning the Swedish Elite League or whatever it is, you don't dream of the Stanley Cup. You dream of maybe playing in North America at the highest level and, making good money and being, one of the elite players in the world. But it's not like that, like it's all like if you're a fucking kid that grows up in Saskatchewan, like it's the Stanley, you know what I mean? And some of the Americans too. And I think that sometimes that comes in. And maybe Tuukka, what a good guy he feels like to me. And I hate, I'd say I hate it. I don't hate it. I mean, I dump on him constantly. As a person, he seems like a great, well-adjusted person, which I don't think you want.
In a goalie, you don't want that.
I think you want someone who's fucking nuts. Tim Thomas was nuts, and I don't think he was the best team guy or anything, but
confirmed.
He's not wired right.
I mean, we just talked to Adin Hill, and Adin Hill seems like all intents and purposes great guy, well-adjusted, just won the Stanley Cup. And he's elevating himself probably like in the discussion for best Canadian goalies.
So look at.
I don't think there's like a box that you fit in for personality-wise to be a great
goalie. To be a winner, there is a winner box.
Oh, I
don't think so.
I think you're doing the thing that we as sports fans do, and Swifties do this too, of like, hey, I don't understand the whole thing, so what can I understand? I can understand the concept of trying hard. So if this does well, it's because they tried hard and they wanted it. Because that's how we describe our own, or that's how we evaluate our own success. Some guys can just be fucking better, and they won maybe because they didn't have like I'm going crazy for this, I got to do it. They just make the better play. And that's hard for us to wrap our heads around because we want to say that they tried harder.
So Henrik Lundqvist seems like a guy that fits into your box, like a guy that doesn't have it, can't win, obviously didn't win a Stanley Cup. Do you blame Henrik Lundqvist for not having a Stanley Cup?
Clearly not, because they were never the best team. I don't know what cup they should have won. That Kings, so they lost to the Kings in the final?
Yeah. But he dragged them to that point. He played behind some fucking atrocious defenses.
And past that Washington team we talked about that was a fucking wagon.
Yeah.
So, look, I don't blame him for not getting past the Crosby Penguins or some of those teams. Should they have won that final against the Kings? Maybe. That Kings team wasn't an all-time team. Then did Jonathan Quick outplay him? I have to go back. So I don't know about Lundqvist. Great goalie. I'd take him on my team any day of the week. But I think the Rangers hung on to him for too long.
I would agree with that.
So I think what's being proven is in this day and age, you don't need that Goalie. I mean, if Adin Hill's going to win, who's the guy with the, was it Grubauer who won with the Avalanche?
Yeah.
He kind of stinks, right? He's not a great goalie. Binnington's no star. It's like you need good goaltending, but I wouldn't.
It was Darcy Kemper who won with the Avalanche.
Was it Darcy Kemper?
It was Darcy
left,
Kemper.
The year before,
and he was bad.
And
Like
he's
Darcy
not,
Kemper
he's not
was
good.
Darcy Kemper was bad in that run, but that was
Oilers
that
almost
was
made a run with
an
Mike
exception.
Smith.
That was the first time that like a team has won the Stanley Cup. In recent memory, first time a team has won the Stanley Cup despite their goaltending.
Jordan Binnington.
It was not good.
He wasn't good.
He wasn't good.
He was fine in that playoffs.
He wasn't good.
He was very good in that play
In
during
some-
that playoff run.
Parayko
In a couple
and
of games, that
Pietrangelo
was
and all those guys
that
were
decor.
men.
It was all that decor. It wasn't him. I'd rather have a big beefy decor. I'd rather have a big beefy D than I would.
Jesus Christ.
Than I would have gone.
And you want
like that? I gave you a little bit of grab
a little
ass.
grab ass. This is sacrilegious around our parts. I think you actually might agree. 2011 Bruins, a lot more Chara than
of course.
is factored in there.
Oh, then Thomas. But
not necessarily more Chara than Thomas, but I'm saying like more Chara than he gets credit for.
But that decor, okay, he and Seidenberg, beasts.
Yes.
Ferentz played tough. He was a tough, physical guy that year. McQuaid was either who was the fourth? No, Boychuk.
It was Boychuk.
Boychuk, big, beefy, strong. Like that was. I think they won that on their decor.
Vegas too last year. I mean, like big defensive group, and they just kick your ass.
I'd rather have that than the goalie, and I think it's you've seen it. They're kind of jaggy goalies that are winning. I mean, I watched Adin Hill the other night was awesome. Like he was great in that third period, but he's just a guy. You
think he's Matt Murray?
Yes, exactly. The Penguins, like they did it too, like that thing. So what? A lot of teams have won recently without one guy, and you're sitting there with two.
If goaltending is your strength, though, I don't.
If goaltending's your strength, you're going to have a good regular season.
Possibly, you're going to make. And that was my favorite take of yours when they signed Olmark, because I also didn't understand why they did it. And you said
it raises their floor.
It keeps Don Sweeney's job because the owners are never going to look at how are the Bruins doing as long as they're getting 3 to 5 playoff games.
That's the biggest problem with the Bruins organization is this overemphasis on the regular season. They've had it my entire life. They hang the Adams Division banners and remember the big win streak? You go back to the 80s with Pete Peters way before your day. This big, long win streak. Like, they get so horned up for the regular season because I think the owners don't really care about winning cups. That they'd like to, but they don't really care. What they care about is season ticket base, home playoff dates, because that's all gravy. You don't pay players in the postseason. We all know this. So every home playoff date is like $2-3 million of gravy off the top. So just look at the history of the Bruins general managers. No one gets fired until they start missing the playoffs.
Right.
Harry didn't get it until he started missing the playoffs. O'Connell got it when he missed the playoffs. Chiarelli missed the playoffs 2 straight years, gone. Sweeney hasn't missed it. When Sweeney starts missing the playoffs, that's when he's gone. He knows it. So the 2-goalie thing guarantees you're going to win regular season games and make the playoffs. And do they care too much about that?
Who do you like for the Patriots at 3?
I like one of these trade down things. As long as I'm getting like one of these stupid trades. The Trey Lance trade a couple of years ago. Miami was sitting there at 3. San Fran moved up from 12. Miami got 3 firsts and a second, I want to say. 3 firsts and a second and a third, something like that. But 3 firsts and then another high second or third round pick. And I'm like, and with that, they used one of those firsts to draft Waddle. They used another first to trade for Tyreek Hill. And then they used another first for Bradley Chubb, who's a defensive player. It's like they kind of built their team on that trade. And I sort of like that. These kid quarterbacks scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, I think that make yourself a quarterback away. I think that everybody thinks like that they're never going to pick this high again. You got to take a why the fuck aren't they going to pick this high? They suck.
Well, and I don't want to pick this high again.
But like you might be 11th overall next year, and you can move up if there's a guy that you like there.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
They were in the playoffs with Alex Smith, and I think they had something like the 24th pick. A good team, but quarterback away. Alex Smith not good enough. So they went from 24 to I think it was 11 and drafted Mahomes. So do something smart, and do something tactical and smart when you know it and really feel it and then are ready for that guy. And they still sat him. They had a quarterback. They were sitting at 24. They traded up and got him and sat him. Like, mwah. Like, that's what – of course you'd want Patrick Mahomes, but I think their whole approach is what I was into.
All right, had to end the conversation on something other than hockey. We'd gotten way too focused there. But we did talk to Bruce Cassidy the other day about Bill Belichick. That was a fun little
what do you have to say?
That he said they keep in touch, which surprised me, but that Belichick was always kind of more like less a fan of the game and more a fan of coaching, which I thought was interesting. Like less like enamored with, boy, like how does Pasternak do that, and more like how do you do that with this guy, which is interesting. And I don't know if Belichick would have been doing that his whole career, but who knows?
I found it funny that he was like, there was no niceties when they were like introduced. It was immediately into like,
I'm into it.
Yeah, like how do you do your job?
I like it.
Yeah.
And you had to have been a Cassidy guy.
No grab it. Love it. Oh, did he shove it up your ass? I mean the Bruins.
Who are you going to replace Claude with? Yeah.
No, it's like not just that, but it's like no, let's fire the guy and have him go win the Stanley Cup while you get fucking gagged in the first round. That's a good Bruins move right there. That story doesn't get talked about enough.
And I'm sure you loved the narrative that like he was pushed out of town because he was mean to the guys.
Why is that a narrative?
I mean, that just was the discussion around it.
Isn't it the fact?
I mean,
could be. We don't know.
It seems like there was a reason behind why he was pushed out.
I hate when someone doesn't like the opinion or the thing. It's a narrative versus what happened.
Oh, I saw a thing the other day that you made up that you talked everybody into thinking that Belichick was bad in recent years. So that was you.
yeah, that was definitely me.
How'd you spin that one?
I don't know. I made the mistake of looking at the scoreboard and watching the games.
Yeah, see, that's the grab-assy stuff that we don't like to do. We were more feels.
How long? That was like 20, 30 minutes just now?
Yeah. We probably got like maybe 2 good bits of like real
sports
information. Yeah, that's what we're trying to give our audience.
Okay.
You know who you'd like? We sat down with him from the Columbus Blue Jackets, Carill Marchenko. Scores a goal, doesn't like music. Doesn't need all the pomp and circumstance.
Meaning, don't play a goal song?
Yeah, you don't need, just, we asked him, what kind of music do you listen to? I don't do music.
Good for him.
Do you read? No.
he should read. He should do a little reading.
He goes to the zoo like every other week.
He goes to the zoo and he plays hockey. If you had a team full of Carill Marchenkos, that'd be your favorite team in the world.
Yeah, I sort of like that.
Interviews, but hey, did you see this movie last? Probably no.
No.
It was
No, I was hanging out with the Red Panda.
with the family. Went to the zoo, played
so your
hockey.
show has no like commercial breaks or no. This is another thing about the fucking internet and podcast. You just talk and talk. And talk
I could have done a read. I'll
I
do a read
believe,
once
I
you
believe
leave.
we had an
Talk
ad
and
read
talk,
that we
like
blew
there's-
through.
Yeah, I'll do a read once you leave.
There's no like.
No clock. And Gene, we need to get you with Gene Principe. I'm going to send you some of his clips. Or just watch it. I know that you're a big fan of ESPN Plus and all these streaming services. Just watch an Oilers broadcast on Sportsnet, on ESPN Plus. And even Gene was saying to us, like, it's cool that you guys get to do all like this grab ass without a clock. He was saying like the clock is,
That's the
it
thing
keeps
I
you humble
hate
and everything.
about
And I
the
was like,
fucking
oh,
podcast.
Felger loves the clock.
The clock gives you pace. You got to get in. You got to get out. There's no time for dicking around. It's a 7-minute segment. Do the thing. Go to commercial. Come back. Do it again. And there's a pace. There's a tempo to it. These podcasts, it's like let's just sit around and fucking grab ass for 30 minutes. And there's no. It would say take your time. No urgency. Just chit chat.
You know what our producer does? You know what our producer does? He looks over at us, says, "You got anything I could do? What do you guys
He's
need?"
sitting there
Chimes
twirling
in
his
no.
fucking
Chimes in the
He's
conversation.
playing Wordle over there. It's like these guys are just
The last
chit-chatting.
the last thought any of us will ever have is, what do we have to get? Well, like, this is coming up or whatever. Like, we have the things. We know we're going to get to it. It happens in due time.
Oh, my God.
We got a producer absolutely
chit-chat.
cooking over there, preparing all the elements that we need to throw up. And it's not watching a clock.
Put it on. Put it on.
Put it on, baby.
Yes. We got him.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. Okay. I'm out. I'm out. That's it.
Love you, man.
You're the
Okay,
best.
thanks.
Thanks
Okay,
so much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate you.
We'll see you.